What is up, humans of the cardboard? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today I'm back with another video with the Spriggans deck, or I guess you want to call it like Spriggans, Scraps, Dogmatica, Dinosaur deck profile that I uploaded just the other day. Today I'm going to be showing you a couple of interesting little combos and some test hands, because this is one of those decks where it's not like, oh, look at your hand, you either have combo or you don't. So I don't think necessarily doing a combo tutorial is what's going to help most people. I think maybe showing you a couple of small interactions will be interesting, and then other than that, it's going to be more test hands is what's going to help you. It's going to give you a better idea of how the deck's actually going to play out there, because all the packages kind of work individually for the most part. They can kind of get you into each other, but they do kind of work individually. So we will just go over a couple of those individually. So let's get right into it. So first we're going to start off with some of the Spriggans package stuff. Just showing you a couple of ways to go about this. I know because sometimes it's a little bit convoluted on what you want to do and when. So this will kind of keep you a little bit more aware of that stuff. So first things first, I want to show you when you have the field spell, which can obviously mean you have booty or watch to get the field spell, or just hard draw the field spell with specifically a Branga. There's a couple of different things you can do with this here. So obviously you activate the Goganda. You're going to use it to discard the Branga to summon out your Merrymaker. Now, this is where you make your first decision here. You're like, do I want to... Well, here's the first thing. You probably don't want to send brothers here, because what's the point of reborning a Branga? He doesn't really give you any value on the field. He's almost worth just as much in grave because he can equip himself to Merrymaker either way. So I don't like going brothers here. So here I want to kind of go something that probably I just don't mind banishing just to get Branga's search effect. I think that's probably the most important thing we can do here. So I'm just going to send Pedor. Pedor is probably the least important thing here. Well, we only played two. Yeah, Pedor's fine. So we'll probably send Pedor here, or I would, if you play 3 Rocky like I do, I would just send Rocky also, but you're not sending Sargus, you're not sending brothers here, I don't think. And then the only next decision we have here is, do we want to equip both of these just to get 2 materials? That way Merrymaker's effect to send a fusion will be live. Depends on what the rest of your hand is. If you have like multiple other powerful disruptions in the rest of your hand, maybe you'd consider doing this just because like, okay, I've got disruptions, I just want to guarantee follow-up. But in this instance, let's say we don't have much going on, so we really need to try and get to something. We're going to banish the Branga and the Pedor to get a search, and this is where you really need to think, because you have a search for probably one of these 4 cards. It's going to be up to you. This is interesting, right? Because it really depends on your hand, because you can either go for watch to keep extending, or you go for one of these 3 to just take an interruption. Depends on the kind you want. Booty is the most interesting one here to me, just because while it is probably the worst interruption of the 3, it does stay face up on the field, and that means if your opponent prioritizes removing Goganda, you'll still have Booty sitting here to just activate next turn to send it to activate another Goganda. So it is like the best one in terms of follow-up, but not the most important one interruption-wise. Interlude is straight up negate, but you do have to get rid of your Merrymaker, which means it won't be coming back. So if you don't have like more ways to like keep playing on the following turn, that's not the greatest either. And Blast is fine, right? Like Blast is just kind of, you know, an impermanence that doesn't target the monster. It's actually okay. It's probably somewhere in between as far as disruptions go. But let's look at the watch. So that's what you can do if you want to search one of those 3. We'll move these over here. But if you want to go for watch and keep extending, we're going to activate the watch. Because we have Goganda up, we can send a monster and add a monster at the same time. And there's a couple different things you can go for here. I will show you one of them. The first one is going to be... So you can, this is just like a rank 4 if you want it, I believe. No, maybe it's not. Is it not? No, it's not even a rank 4. Okay, so there's really not as many choices as you would think, to be honest. But what I'm looking at here is if we go send Sargus, we can actually add a second copy of Pedor, because we haven't used his effect on field. Then we can normal summon the Pedor effect tributing itself to reborn the Sargus, and then we can use Pedor to equip. And getting this just gets our Dryden effect alive here. So we have the field spell, we have the Dryden effect alive, and you know, that's not too bad. I mean, this card's tagging out, you know, doing its grindy thing. And then we also have a pop interruption. We also have Goganda still in the field for follow-up. So what I like about the deck is that it does leave some continuous and field spells cards up to just continue to grind with. But that's mainly it. There's not really another great play we can do here. I mean, like, technically you could try and just, if you're not worried about an eruption, you could like send brothers, add Rocky, and then go like normal Rocky, Rocky add the brothers back and pass. But like you have no interruption, but at least you end with a discard for Gogolganda on the next turn. But that's not, it's not really my biggest worry, to be honest. So pretty cool things. Just some things I wanted to show you there. The only other play I wanted to show you is if you open exactly Rocky in the deck, you with the Gogolganda, which I played at 3, so that's like not crazy at all. But here's just something really cool. It just equals a couple. Well, I'll show you. All right, so we just go Gogolganda, pitching the Rocky, and then we go Rocky. I'm sorry. Yeah, pitching the Rocky to summon Merrymaker. Merrymaker sends brothers. Brothers specials back Rocky, and then Rockies add the brothers. We haven't normal summoned yet, so we can now just normal summon, overlay. And here's the other interesting thing. If maybe you had a way to get to Captain Sargus as well, which is not impossible, especially if you if you play the Dogmatica package and you used a card that could send Sprint, and then on the end phase you summon Sargus. Here's what you could do from there is, if depending on the exceed you want to make, or if you know the matchup, if you make something like Dweller, you can literally just go Dweller detach. Then we can go monster to equip, and then when you resolve the Sprint, whenever you resolve the Sprint on end phase, you summon the Sargus, and you do have a material on this, and then you also still have a material for Dweller, because Dweller is just most important to have a material on the opponent's turn. The second material is not probably going to come up too much, so you've got a pop and a Dweller, and it probably took 3 cards, but you know, there's definitely worse things in the world. So that's some cool, interesting stuff I want to show you about the Spriggans package. Very cool. Now let's move to the scraps. All right, guys, the next part I want to talk about, the next portion of the deck that I think is important to make note of, is the scrap package. Just keeping in mind that any of these 9 cards I'm playing, 3, 3, and 3, are all 1-card starters that get you through the scrap combo. Very, very good there. So yeah, I'm going to show you what the payoff is for this, how far you can go with this, because in this deck, this is probably the single most powerful engine in the deck, I would argue. Well, you could argue Dogmatica, but you'll see what we get out of something like this. But yeah, so let's just say we go through the most, a little bit extra, I don't know, a little extra route. So Fossil Dig is the longest way to get there, but it's still the same thing. We go Fossil Dig, we add Scrap Raptor from deck to hand. We go normal summon Scrap Raptor, we go Scrap Raptor effect. He will target himself, he pops himself. Then I get an additional normal summon for a Scrap Monster. And then after he pops himself in a new chain, like, he will trigger to search a non-tuner scrap. That's going to be our recycler. Then we go normal summon recycler. So long story short, like, we didn't have to do any of that if we just opened recycler. You just go normal recycler. It's the same exact thing. So recycler is going to trigger to get us a send from deck to grave for a machine. We are going to send Crystron Rosenix. This is just for a free extra body. This is just like the simplest card you can play for machines to just get an easy extra body on the field. So we're going to banish the Rosenix. It's going to get us a token. It doesn't really matter what we use. We'll just throw this here because we're immediately going to link these off. We're going to summon Scrap Wyvern. We're going to use Scrap Wyvern's effect, targeting the recycler in grave. I guess it really doesn't super matter. I guess you can target Raptor if you want. Depends on what the rest of your hand is. I guess theoretically Raptor could matter here. We go Wyvern effect, reborn the Raptor, and then it pops a card on your side of the field. So we'll pop the Raptor again, and then we'll trigger Wyvern's other effect that says if another scrap monster is destroyed while this card is face up on the field, you can special summon a scrap monster straight from the deck. Then we will summon our Golem. This is one of the bigger bricks in the deck, but I think you have to play it in this version, because if you don't play this card, you're really not getting nearly as far in the deck, unfortunately. I mean, I guess you could be summoning a scrap recycler here and sending another card, but this card lets you go the little bit extra step, and you'll see why that's important here. So then we'll go Golem effect. We're going to reborn the recycler. This actually does trigger recycler this time. The reason you don't reborn recycler, or the reason it doesn't matter, is that recycler misses timing. It's a when effect, so there are certain times where it will trigger and certain times it won't. So it does trigger when it's reborn off of the Golem, luckily. So we'll get another send. And this literally is inconsequential. This is literally like, look at the rest of your hand, see what you got going on, and see what you want to dump, because this is like, I mean, obviously this kind of needs to be a Spriggan card, and it just depends what the rest of your hand looks like, how many Spriggans cards you have going on. If you already have a Spriggan monster engraved, you could just send Brothers, reborn it. You could send Rocky if you already have a plan to set up for the field spell or anything. You could set up Sargus, just get Sargus engraved so that if all you have is like, you know, the field spell in a discard, you just get back the Sargus and boom, you've got Sargus with the Exceed Merrymaker and you're kind of good to go. So just depends, but that is a free send. Just add that on to like what the end board's going to look like. And then we go into the spice from here. We take all three of these monsters and we make Curious the Lightsworn Dominion. Of course, Recycler's a machine, Golem is a rock, and Wyvern is a dragon. So 3 different types with the same attribute. On summon, we're going to use Curious's effect, and we're going to send any card from our deck to the graveyard. We're going to send over Text Quatless here. You can, this can also, by the way, if you already had access, like we play Foolish Burial. If you just opened Foolish Burial, you could use Foolish on the Quatless, and this could technically send any other card we want. So whatever, you could send more Springans. You know, if you sent Sargus, you could then send Brothers Reborn the Sargus. Stuff like that. If you sent, you could send Bronga and a card to banish with Bronga to like help you get to the Spriggans package. Or whatever. So, but in this instance, we're going to go Quatless. This is what you do like 95% of the time. Quatless is going to search us Double Evolution Pill. We are going to then activate Double Evolution Pill, banishing the Quatless and probably the Recycler. I think this is the easiest one to like not care about, and also just keeping, we still want to have a Dino engraved because that can, well, it's not, it shouldn't really come up, but it could. And I like having Wyvern engraved too, because it does get you pops if we have like Reborn or a way to get it back. That will, that could come up. So then we Devo Pill. This is where you make a decision here because, oh, by the way, on activation here, I forgot to mention this. These need to chain link because, or if you want to activate his effect, we need to chain these. So I would do chain link 1 Curious, chain link 2 Quatless. And so what that's going to do is going to make Quatless search first. That way we have a lower risk of milling the pill that we wanted to search. And then we mill 3. I mean, this is like, this deck's like barely even shuffled. But there we go. I mean, if we sent a Spriggan and now we sent Bronga, we can now, and as long as we didn't send Bronga originally, we now can banish those to search a Spriggan card, which is pretty good. But anyway, then we add the pill. And then you pretty much activate the pill, banishing the 2 from grave. Scrap Recycler and the Quatless to then summon the Conductor Tyranno. So long story short, what we're looking at here is we had a free mill for a machine, or we had a Foolish for a machine off the second Recycler effect. We had a mill 3 off of Curious, which a lot of the time, if you just send a Springin off of Recycler and then you hit another Springin, it's pretty good because, especially if it's Bronga. Although to be honest, you probably want to send Bronga with the first effect, but obviously that would have been made our mills a little bit different, but still, you can still hit some good value there. You end on a Conductor Tyranno, and all it costed you was 1 card to get there. What's really cool also is like, if you just play 1 more card, I do play Appaloosa, so you can obviously just like, boop, boop, take this into an Appaloosa. If you're going second and this play resolves, you just like make access code off of this, and boom, 3-mana access code is also pretty dang good. So there's kind of a lot, I mean, you get pretty good value off of like 1 scrap card here. And then I also play the Pank, just by the way, in case you mill the Conductor, you can still like summon the Pank off of the pill, which gives you something. It's not nothing, it's a Dryadent, and it's also a good generic card anyway that a lot of decks probably should be playing that they don't. But yeah, figured I'd throw that in there as well. All right, guys, we are now here for the test hands portion of this video. Gonna do probably like 2 or I don't know, probably 3, like nothing too crazy here. Just to show you guys a good example. I'll also be rating each test hand just to give you an idea of how good I consider each test hand, just so you can, I don't know, it's better to like, I don't know. I think that could help just to have people have an idea of like how good the hand is, what they can expect to draw and all that stuff. I've already done like 10 minutes of shuffling here, so let's jump into this thing. Let's do one big cut here before we do our 5-card hand, and let's look. Fridge, okay. Spriggan Watch, that's good. Spriggan Rocky, that's good. Goganda, that's good. Fossil Dig, okay. All right, so now we got a hand right here. So normally, see, like the problem with the Spriggan stuff is like if you start with the Spriggan stuff, like you're like Goganda doesn't really bait a hand trap because nobody can hand trap this card except with like Ogre. Nobody really plays Ogre. But either way, we will start with this. I'm going to activate Gogol Gonda, and I'm going to activate Spriggans Watch. I honestly think resolving the Fossil Dig and the Scrap combo is going to be more important than Spriggans Watch, but this will scare a lot of people because it's a Foolish Burial and a add from deck to hand, but we'll resolve it anyway, just in case. We do have Rocky in hand also, which is pretty dang clean. So I think I just keep it simple here. I want to add Bronga, and I think I want to send Sargis just to get him out there. And I think we'll be trying to resolve all of this stuff if we can. Just depends. Where's the Sargis? There we go. All right. That's always good. From here, I'm going to... If they haven't hand trapped us yet, it is what it is. They're probably not going to hand trap us now. I want to go Fossil Dig, and we're going to, like, they either have Nib or like nothing probably. If they haven't hand trapped us, I guess we haven't put a monster on the field, so they could have like Veil or Imperm. But that is what it is. Man, I guess that's a reason to Veil or Imperm. So let's go ahead and say we didn't Fossil Dig yet. Let's just use the Gogol Gonda first. We'll pitch the Bronga, and then we'll summon Merrymaker effect to send a monster. This could theoretically bait a Veil or an Imperm if people don't know what the deck does. And it's actually not a bad time to do it, because this is almost always when you send Brothers. So if they do hit this, they're keeping you from the Brothers effect. So we are going to send Brothers here, though. We're going to use Brothers effect, and we are obviously going to Reborn the Sargis. I think that's by far the best target we have available to us here. All right, very nice. Right. Then we go Fossil Dig. We're going to get the Raptor. We're going to normal summon Raptor. We're just going to run through this combo real quick. We're going to go Raptor effect, pop himself. He's going to search for a Scrap Recycler and the additional normal for Recycler. Recycler effect to send. We did draw the Fridge, but luckily we did not draw the Rosenix. So we'll send the Rosenix. We'll banish the Rosenix for a token. We'll go bloop. We'll just link it off immediately. I'm not linking off any of the other monsters I have. That just doesn't really make a lot of sense. We'll go Wyvern effect on the Raptor. We're Reborn the Raptor, and then we'll pop the Raptor, triggering his other effect. And this one kind of hurts a little bit because we have the Golem in hand, right? And I believe this summons straight from deck. See, this one hurts a little bit. It really does. We'll summon another Recycler, and we'll have to just use the Recycler's effect to get an extra send. Now, we already have 4 names in rotation, so the only thing that really makes sense is like, I guess it's probably bad. Like, I feel bad for Pedor, because some people, like, I just really don't think Pedor comes up outside of like one specific situation. But I'm gonna send another Bronga just so that like I can use this Bronga this turn and still have a Bronga in grave for next turn to get potentially a search just for the grind game there. And unfortunately, that's where that has to end, because we have the Golem in hand. Otherwise, it would have been really clean. Yeah, so we're out of normal summons. It is what it is, though. It's not the end of the world. We're just not going to go through Curious this duel, it looks like. Yeah, looks like Curious is going to be off the table. So from here, here's what we want to do. We want to go back into this Spriggans package here and see where we can go. I want to banish the Bronga, one of them, and probably the Brothers. Yeah, it has to be the Brothers to get a search. Yeah, that's gotta be that, yeah. So we're gonna get a search here for any Springan card. I'm thinking about what I want here. Unfortunately, that stuff's not all that in a box of chocolates. Yeah, unfortunately, because we opened the Golem, it got a little awkward for us here, but we're still gonna be okay. It's just not gonna be great. Now you just have to decide what you want, whether you want Interluder, whether you want Blast, or what. I'm gonna grab Blast. I think Blast makes the most sense here. I want to make sure I get Merrymaker back, because we couldn't go for the high ceiling play and get all the way to Curious with the Golem in hand. Like, you know, we gotta just do what we gotta do, you know. Just one of them days. Okay, so we got the Blast, And now we can just do some equipping. I think that's what we kind of have to do here. We're going to equip the Brongo from Grave, and we'll probably just equip the Rocky too. This means if we don't need the Sargus effect, or if our opponent baits something out early, like, you know what I mean, they lead with an imperm into the Merrymaker or something, we can tag the Merrymaker out and still get the search, even if we didn't have a good chance to activate the Sargus. The Blast will still be live. Unfortunately, there's nothing great I can do with these two. It's really kind of sad right now, but unfortunately, there's really nothing great I can do with them outside of just kind of hold the fort down. I will say, I guess that doesn't even really matter that much. I don't know. Yeah, it's one of those things, right, where I guess if somehow I can like get this destroyed by card effect, I could summon another monster straight out of the deck with Wyvern and pop a card, but that's kind of, without Conductor, that's not really going to be worth it to do with Sargus. But yeah, it's fine. I mean, we have 2 interruptions here, and we have follow-up. We have Merrymaker's follow-up. We have the field spell still. We have a tribute summon for Scrap Golem next turn if we just have any monster on field. We have Wyvern. We can get Wyvern. Well, we can get Wyvern. Oh, no, we can't do it with Golem. It's fine. This hand wasn't great. It was kind of like clogged with the Golem, but the rest of the hand was like was pretty solid. But you can grind, and that's like the cool part with this deck is like you have the ability to set up like 5 interruption boards, but also sometimes you just get like stuck with hands where you draw the bricks, and that's the downside of a deck like this, because Konami kind of sharded on Spriggans. We kind of have to like support Spriggans by like playing a bunch of like a high risk, I mean like engines with higher ceilings, but also have to play bricks to get there, right? We have to play the Coatless and the Devo Pill just to make the Dino package worth anything. We have to play the Fridge if we want the scrap package to actually get all the way to Curious, and so it just leaves us in a weird spot. Also, like the Rosenix is another one. Some of the Shadal cards, Schism is another one. So it kind of gets awkward at the end of the day, and it is what it is. I mean, you just got to do your best here to make best use of the bricks. All right, looking at our second hand here, we have Booty. That's a great start. Fool's Burial, great start. Booty again, that's actually still a good start. Doesn't look like it, but it is. Scrap Recycler and Golgolganda. Damn, 3 copies of Golgolganda, huh? So one of these cards in our hand is dead, but we don't have any bricks, so I'm still totally okay with that. So unfortunately, Booty activates Golgolganda straight from the deck, so this probably doesn't fetch a hand trap. But it is what it is. I'm probably just going to start by just raw activating Golgolganda. Yeah, actually I have to. Yeah, actually, so one of these Booties actually isn't horrible. It's not great, but it's not horrible. I'm going to go activate Golgolganda. We'll go Golgolganda effect, pitching a Booty, and this sucks. This is the only downside of like not having anything killer in Grave, but we're going to, yeah, we're just going to pitch the Booty. We're going to summon the Merrymaker. We'll use Merrymaker's effect to send. We're going to send the Bronga because as we resolve our scrap package, I want to see exactly what we can mill. Because if we can mill another Spriggan name, then we can obviously search Watch and kind of get back into business here. And we have Fool's Burial, so, and a free send off of the scraps. So we're kind of looking pretty good. I'm going to go normal summon Recycler. We'll go Recycler effect. We will send... Where's the Rosenix? Where's it at? There it is. Okay, send Rosenix, banish Rosenix for a token, then we'll take Recycler and the Rosenix token into Wyvern. We'll go Wyvern, Reborn, pop it, misses timing, misses activation period. This is timing because it's a win effect. Then we'll summon from deck. We will obviously grab the Fridge. We'll go Fridge effect, targeting Recycler, Reborn it. We'll get an extra send here. Now, because we have an extra send, and I'm kind of already just looking for a Bronga target to banish, I kind of just want to send Pedor. Hold on, let me think about this. Is there any situation where I'm like not sending Pedor? I guess there is a situation where I'm sending Sargus here. But I think it's either Sargus or Pedor, just because I want Pedor like kind of out of the way right here. Yeah, I think Pedor's fine here. I might backtrack on this later on. Okay, so now we're sitting here. We can make our Curious. Curious will dump. We will dump. Quatless. Then we'll go Chainlink 1 Curious, Chainlink 2 Quatless. So we will search a pill first. Then we will shuffle and mill 3. If we hit a Spriggan name here, we're going to be in really solid shape. I guess we don't fully need a Spriggan name, but no Spriggan name. Nothing good actually there. All right. So now we can activate Double Evolution Pill. We can banish Quatless and Recycler as I normally do. And we will summon the Conductor straight out of the deck. Where is he at? Dum dum dum. Also, I mean, if we're post side, defense is fine, so we don't lose to Lightning Storm. There. Goes. I can. Then we're looking at the end of the turn here. What are we doing? I think. What do we want, man? I kind of want another monster on the field. So I'm going to Foolish Burial. Yeah, I think that's what we do. We're gonna activate Foolish Burial, and we are going to send the brothers this way. I know this is a really weird way to send brothers, but it didn't make sense to send it earlier with Merrymaker. So we're gonna send brothers, and we're gonna activate brothers effect to Reborn, just to give our board a little more extra oomph. We want to Reborn. Really matter? The Pedor. It has to be the Pedor. Which doesn't really matter, but whatever. So theoretically, this could have been Sargus, right? But I don't think that's even necessarily better because now I want to banish both, or now I want to banish both of these to get another search. No, I guess I could have, because it could have been that, so. But at that instance, is a Dryden even worth, or would I rather just have Appaloosa? Yeah, you know what? Let's say let's backtrack and let's say that we sent Sargus originally off of the Pedor send. So then we can Reborn the Sargus. Then we'll go banish Branga. No, that's not even good. Nope, never mind. Okay, so it's just it literally doesn't matter. We're gonna do that. Then we're gonna banish the Branga and the brothers. This has to be done here. And I was thinking I could grab Watch, but if I grab Watch, I'm not even getting another interruption out of it. So I can get 3 more interruptions if I go this way. So I think it's just way, 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 way better. I'm gonna grab Springan's Blast here. Not amazing, but it's decent. We've got hella monster negation. Holy crap. Burial should be engraved. And here we go. We're gonna finish up by taking Sargus and the Curious into a Appaloosa for 2. And then we activate Booty, set Blast. And while we're here, we might as well throw, it doesn't really matter. We'll throw Sargus onto Merrymaker just to give it an extra 500 attack. Not that that matters, but it makes it 2600 attack, which is fine. And I think that's where we pass. So we've got 2 negates with Appaloosa. We obviously have the Conductor effect. We have Merrymaker, which can tag out, which is very nice, and we can use Golgon to make something unable to attack that turn. And then we have Booty, which says when Merrymaker's banished, we can negate a monster on the field, and Blast, which can target a zone and negate a monster in that zone. So 1 negate, 2 negates, 3, 4, and the Conductor effect to book, and this is also coming back next turn. We have Golgonda. We've got some decent follow-up chilling around the way as well. So I'll take that hand. That hand's actually pretty decent. I would say the first hand was probably a 5 out of 10 just because of the fridge. And then this hand is probably a 7 out of 10. Still good, not great though. Forgot to rank the first one. First one might have been a 6 out of 10. But I don't know. It didn't feel like a 6 out of 10 by the end of the turn. All right, next hand. Woo! Holy crap, this hand sucks. Holy crap, this hand might not be playable. All right, here we go. Scrap Raptor, good start. Fossil Dig, bad start. Nadir Servant, okay, cool. Finally have a hand we'll be able to connect to that stuff. The Bronga and the Blast. Okay, this hand is kind of weird, but it's going to do some things. This hand is certainly going to do some things. We may not even be trying to... We had the Blast, though, which just does make things a little weird. All right, we'll see what we can do. Okay, so starting off here, I'm going to activate Dig. I think you want to activate Dig just to see if your opponent ashes it. I think if they're a fool, they'll ash it. So we'll grab another Raptor. It's completely useless for this hand, but it is what it is. You're going to see this happen when you play like like 9 copies of like Raptor and or Recycler, and they all do the same thing. They all take your normal. We're going to normal this. We're going to start going through this package. Pop himself. He's going to get us a search and an extra normal summon. Grab Recycler, normal Recycler, Recycler effect, send the Rosenix, banish the Rosenix for a token, take Recycler and the token into Wyvern, Wyvern effect reborn, and pop it, trigger his other effect to summon from the deck. For Golem. Then we go Golem effect, reborn the Recycler. Recycler's going to get us an extra send here. Now we do have Bronga in hand, and I think that, man, that's pretty awkward. I don't even know what to do here, man. It's so weird. I don't think I can get... Oh, no, I can get Bronga out of the hand. That shouldn't be a problem. I'm going to send Rocky. I think Rocky's probably right for the Spriggans stuff. Then we will keep going. We will make Curious effect. Send the Quatless. Curious 1, Quatless 2. Let's grab the pill and then let's shuffle. Let's hope we don't hit the conductor this time. It'd be hilarious if we hit it on camera. All right, gave it a good old shuffle. We're gonna mill 3. Okay, there's Pank. I really can't hit conductor now. Okay, we didn't. We're good. All right. Yeah, nothing good on the mills. We save the pill for last now, I think, if we're smart boys. And I can't really do anything with the Spriggan stuff. This can't really do anything with. Can't do anything yet here. So I'm gonna have to activate Servant. And I'm going to send, I want to send here. Yeah, I want to send App Cologne and add, obviously, Ecclesia. Okay, so we'll activate App Cologne in a new chain. We're going to add the Schism, and I think I'm going to dump the Bronga. I really want him engraved. And also, this is another way where if like you opened Quatless or you opened Rosenix, resolving this would let you pitch them to grave. That would trigger the Quatless, which is huge in this kind of hand because it literally lets you in like Conductor plus Schism, which is like insane. But anyway, now we've got the Schism. We discard the Bronga, so now we can go Bronga and the Rocky, banishing them. If we had another Spriggan name, we'd be in much better position. We are already locked out of the extra deck, however, which definitely stinks. But it is what it is. I'm going to just add Watch. The reason I want to add Watch here is because if next turn we draw a copy of a card that gets us to go Goganda, then Watch is like already like really good. If we draw another Watch, it's just your discard off the Goganda next turn. If you draw Booty or Goganda itself, then it's just like awesome. It's an awesome extender. Okay. So that's going to be follow-up. Unfortunately, we had to go about it the slow route, but it is what it is. But we've got Raptor and Watch coming in next turn for follow-up, and arguably Blast. We're not going to end on a spring in here, but whatevs. Okay, so we're going to special the Ecclesia now. We're going to use Ecclesia's effect to search. I think in this instance, I want to go ahead and grab Maximus. We'll use Maximus's effect, and we're going to banish the Wyvern to summon himself from hand. Then we'll use its effect to send to. So your opponent also gets to send to. I did play somebody recently who was playing Altergeist, so I think they were playing punishments. They just played like triple Intis in their extra. It was like kind of insane. I think we keep it simple here. I think we just go send. This is actually going to do some pretty cool stuff for us. So send Titaniclad and Sprind. Then we will set Schism, set Blast, activate Devo Kill. So we'll banish 1 and we'll banish 2 with the Recycler again. That's how we do. Summon out the Conductor. So this hand's actually going to be crazy. This one might be like a 9 out of 10, straight up. Like other than the extra copy of Raptor and opening like Blast, whereas if Blast was like the Spring and Field spell, then we'd be like crazy. But I still think this hand's really good, obviously. Okay, so now we've got the Conductor. Then we go to End Phase, and we will resolve Titaniclad and Sprind. So I'm actually going to add with Titaniclad. I just want to get another Ecclesia in hand for next turn. This will get us our punishment if we really want it. And then we can also summon off of the Springan, which fortunately no Springans engraved, so Rocky doesn't really do anything. Hedor doesn't really. I think we just go for Bronga again, just to get the name, in out there, right? Is that how that works? So we want. It's fine. I think it's fine. The other thing too with Bronga is just having him on field makes Blast live, so that's why I wanted to send Sprind. So that way, otherwise I'm just like holding Blast in hand, which could have been a free discard for Watch next turn, but or off the field spell, like if we used Watch to get the field spell next turn. But it is what it is. So what are we ending on here for follow-up? I mean, the follow-up's insane here. We've got Watch, Raptor, and Ecclesia all in hand. And then as far as interruptions go, we're going to Schism on the opponent's turn to summon Winda by banishing 1, and then does it even matter? It just has to be dark, right? So yeah, it just has to be dark. So it literally doesn't matter. We banish that Titaniclad, I think. So we can Winda. We have a Blast. If they had a monster effect that would remove Winda or negate Winda, we can blast that. And we also have Conductor to Book of Moon everything, which like after we've used Blast, we probably just pop the Bronga to do that. He has effects engrave anyway. And Curious also is like kind of, well, like, so if this stays alive, we have 2 more sends next turn, which can probably just be Construct and Intis. Actually, I don't know if you really want to send Construct, but Intis is really cool. So you have like at least a pop. And you can send any other thing. And then, I mean, unfortunately, extra deck space is tight. I have run into that situation where I keep going into new turns with Maximus, and I'm like, oh, what do I send? And I'm like, oh, I literally just have like 1 send target left. But it is what it is. Then we can, so Curious will float, and also just, it's a 3 to make access code with if he lives till next turn. And then that's just like the end of the duel. So this hand's actually like really good. I really like this hand because it grinds like crazy. Let me see off the top real quick. Punishment off the top. That's not a good draw, but it is what it is. I think like we're probably winning this duel most of the time if we're resolving that whole turn 1 anyway. But still, like, cool hand. I'm glad we got to show off some of the, like, how the Dogmatica package like kind of factors into everything. But yeah, so those are the 3 test hands there, guys. Hopefully it gives you an idea. It's not really a combo deck. You just need to know what each individual engine does on their own, but also how they can connect into each other. Because sometimes you have weird hands where you're like, ooh, like the discard, like in that hand, the discard off of Schism was actually kind of nice because it got Bronga engraved to get us another search for follow-up. And then we were able to send Sprind off of the Maximus to guarantee we got a Springin on board to make Blast live, right? So there's really cool little interactions there. Same thing with like Koalas. If you have like Nadir and you have Koalas in hand, you just go, like that plays so strong, right? You just like send Apkalone, search Schism, and then dump the conductor or stump the quatless, and like you're kind of cracked. Like that's already like kind of insane, in my opinion. So really, really cool stuff. I'm a huge fan of the deck. The deck is so fun, so cool. I really hope you guys like it too. Definitely let me know your thoughts down below. If I misplayed down there, feel free to let me know what I could have done, how certain hands could have been better. I think that first hand maybe could have been better, but it is what it is, right? You know, I think the deck's really cool for what it's worth, and I like that Spriggans can be played kind of like this. I just wish they could be played a little more pure. But that just ties more into the video I am going to be releasing soon, where I talk about why Spriggans kind of got done dirty by Konami. But we'll get there when we get there. But I'm going to end it off here today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not yet and you want to see more stuff from me in the future. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.